Hey everyone, this is Perch, and I'm here with Joe Coralla. How you doing?
I'm all right, Perch. How are you?
Well, I'm excited because I've been thinking about more ideas for comics, and I came to a conclusion, some self-reflection that maybe going right out the gate with a bunch of known, established big two characters. I mean, it's reaching too quickly for that golden ring. That you got to get your start somewhere. You have to start smaller, set your expectations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people start smaller. They start, developing their own IP, before they get that like once in a lifetime shot to write like a 3-page, Rocket Raccoon backup in an anthology no one's going to buy.
Yeah, the peak of your career, really.
Yeah,
You got to build up to
absolutely.
that peak. As I was thinking about this and feeling kind of down, of like, oh, yeah, I've got to work my way up. It also dawned on me that all the creative stuff's always at the indies. Like, why even try to get to the big two? I mean, other than the money, the prestige, job security, and getting that 3-page story,
Yeah.
having that indie career is better for me creatively.
It is, and everyone says that any big, writer or artist's best work is their indie work, and I believe them because that's what everyone says.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the facts are there. I mean,
Absolutely, people are saying it. So,
and all the awards always go to the smaller books I've never heard of, which means that my reading taste is bad because they're right and I'm wrong.
yeah, absolutely. The best publishers are, your Drawn and Quarterlies and your Fantagraphics, and I guess Top Shelf, which was bought by
Sure.
IDW. But you have to, if you want to really, make an impact, you have to do something that's at least kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, my life experiences are better and superior to everyone else's and are more interesting. So they would make great stories.
They would. I think some of the most important stories that are told in comics are, about like, some guy being sad around high school in a small town or the suburbs or something.
That's a great story. Hang on, let me write that one down.
Yeah, no, please,
Yeah,
please.
I should rip off that. Well, so hear me out. So I have this idea because also what I'm noticing is that today, with all of the social change and the big moments that are hitting, we're very conscious about what's going on in the world. I want to do a comic that reflect on that. So I want to do something kind of torn from the headlines, a title that really explains, called like "I Will Overcome."
Okay.
It's a story. It's about the struggle of inequity in an unfair world, how some must work really hard to get what other privileged people find just lands in their lap easily. It's in short, it's the story of why I can't get the same amount of likes as that guy who just launched his fucking Instagram a few weeks ago, and we all know is tracing and
Yeah.
doesn't deserve it. I think a graphic novel around this concept.
Yeah. No, that's good because that's relatable. I think that's something that everyone can relate to. We're constantly inundated with imagery of people vaguely having fun on like a beach, or
Yeah.
eating chicken wings or something. I don't know. Slicing a cake on when we're dealing with something like Instagram, and then sometimes they'll like doodle something, and people like it. You see that a lot, and then Instagram. I mean, people are picked up to do comics off Instagram all the time.
Yeah, so
And
this can be both a powerful study of human psychology and my own struggles, and also a resume builder for future work, kind of simultaneously.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a way to work around the complexity of having to build your own website. You just throw some stuff on Instagram, and then you can link people to that. So that way, you're giving off the impression that you're too good to have a website. People should already know you. People should want to work with you already, and they should have to work for it to go through your Instagram feed and find the sequential samples that they need.
This is great advice. I mean, I was thinking I could just, and it doesn't all have to be real. Part of the story will be kind of a big dream sequence where kind of I'm lost in the mist, and then I come across this giant monster named dopamine, and I fight it, but then I realize what I should do is just fuck it. And then there's just many scenes of just sweaty sex with dopamine, and then I wake up and I've got a like, and that's how the story completes in a journey.
Yeah, no, I mean that people on social media, I believe they refer to it as being thirsty.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's something you could play with that a little bit. You're stuck in this sort of situation where it's like you versus dopamine, and you have to. The only way to get out of this is to fuck it. So you call it thirst trap.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's a literal thirst trap.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, and then look at all the artists on Twitter and Instagram right now who just draw people from like the X-Men or whatever being really slutty, and everyone likes them, and they're not sexist or anything like that because they're on the right side of history. So if you do that kind of thing, and as long as your personal views or you're followed by the right people, you'll be fine.
Okay, well that's the key. It really it's about building that audience, right? Yeah. Building the right audience.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the right audience, and if you can get certain followers and certain people around you, you can kind of protect yourself in a way that other people are not able to, and that'll help you get ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking for both a group that will be supportive in shielding me from any criticism, but also never mention anything that might make me feel bad about myself.
Oh, yeah. No, comics, social media is the place for you.
Excellent. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're going to, here's an important piece of advice. So you're occasionally going to have to reinforce those friendships. And by occasionally, I mean constantly, to the point where you're running out of time during the day and waking up screaming from stress nightmares about getting into arguments with these friends over like Google Hangouts or something like that, or they're getting kicked out of a Discord. It's really going to ruin your life, like mentally and emotionally. But in the end, you might get that 3-page Rocket Raccoon backup in an annual. So it's really
this is what they mean by suffering for your art.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like, and when I'm saying this sort of stuff, what you have to do to reinforce these things is, maybe you tag someone in like a tweet and you just say, oh, no reason, just a shout out to, the greatest writer or artist that's ever lived, so-and-so. And, you do stuff like that. You try to be a reply guy.
Gotcha.
For people who aren't aware, a reply guy is someone you find certain people that you admire in comics, and you do not allow them at all to ever say anything without you being there to support them in some way. Being vaguely creepy about it, possibly offering virtual hugs.
Okay.
And if you don't want to type hugs because that's a little awkward, there's some animated gifs perhaps that there's, I think, that ghost one that's like loading the virtual hugs. You could use that, but yeah, and this is networking.
Excellent. I've been building up a good collection. I've got a few gifts here. I've got one where everybody kind of comes out of their seat at once to do a standing ovation. I've got that one.
Yeah.
I've got the Kermit the Frog sipping the tea to appear contemplative. A little spicy. I'm a little worried about frog imagery, but other than that,
Kermit gets a pass because Kermit has the right friends.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, see, that's how it works. I get
that is exactly how it works. And here's the thing. This is an important thing for all of you who have used the tea sipping Kermit gif. Let's say something happens on Twitter, and this happens literally every day. Someone will inevitably tweet like, I saw the bad comics take, and oh boy, that was bad. And then other people come in and they're like, oh, tell me what the tweet is, all that. they're all losers.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
don't
that's good
want
to
to,
know.
you never want to admit you don't know what that information is.
What if I was to go in and say, this seems like a big waste of time. I've got work to do. Would that be a good response or no?
No, what the response is, it's that Kermit gif.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
by giving that gif, you are giving off the impression that you know what's being talked about.
I knew I was right to come talk to you about this. See, I'm learning
Yeah.
a lot already. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. People might then hop into your mentions asking you what it is. This is where you start acting really cool. You don't respond, and then maybe later you'll tweet something about how, like, I turned off my notifications, I'm very busy, or something like that. And then, here's a life hack for you. The people who usually are tweeting something like, I saw the bad comics take, and oh boy, it was bad. If you click on their profile and you click on their likes, they inevitably like someone's tweet that's referencing this bad tweet. And you'll find out in like 30 seconds. It's
Oh,
really not hard.
clever.
Yeah.
That's really clever. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting all this down. This is perfect. It does seem like a minefield, and I mean, I thought, it would be best if I just went on there and like just tried to make friends and share my art, but I'm realizing that's not going to get me anywhere.
No, I mean, creators and writers, artists, they don't typically end up hiring people.
Mm,
So what you have to do is create a shallow network of creators who are all just working in a vacuum on their own projects, and all you do is every once in a while you vaguely talk about these projects you're working on with each other without actually creating any sort of real substantial network or helping each other in any way.
excellent. What if I get a job and it's not one I really like? It seems like nobody will really like this. It's pretty small. Should I be humble about it, or should I just try and pretend that it's the dream job I've always wanted for my entire life? But then people will see that I'm lying.
Here's the thing: no one has ever gotten likes or retweets for being humble.
True. Okay.
And this is the game here. I mean, so let's say, you're working really, you find out maybe some publisher has the rights to stone protectors. Remember stone protectors? Those were when they tried to make the troll dolls for boys, and it had like a shortly lived cartoon. No one liked any of this stuff. It was stupid. No one was a fan. And if they were, it was for a very brief moment in time.
Right.
Now, your job as someone trying to make it into indie comics, if you find out that someone has that license, you make your personality into, I love the stone protectors.
Perfect.
Yeah, you start talking about your favorite episodes.
It's like dressing for the job you want.
Absolutely. So if you inundate social media, you create animated GIFs, you take pictures of yourself with the action figures. If you don't have any of those, you just lie, and you take pictures off the internet and claim those are pictures of your dolls. You make up, you use quotes, whatever you got to do, and you keep tagging the publisher in it. If you're a writer and don't really have the artistic skill, pay someone to do stone protector commission work. Like, show that you are on the brink of insanity over how much you like a stupid thing people will lie and say they remember, but they don't.
Now, is it important that I actually learn about the property, or is it really just a shallow understanding and I'm going to map modern day sensibilities and whatever I want to write onto them?
I mean, that's really the latter is the goal.
Okay.
Because if it was worthwhile beforehand, people would have liked it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
Yeah.
know, so there's really nothing from this worthless property that the IP holders and the people behind Troll Dolls would probably prefer everyone forget. They're probably not happy that we're even talking about stone protectors right now.
True. This will demonetize the video for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you do this, and then what usually happens is eventually a rights holder or the publisher will slip into your DMs and be like, "Hey, I've noticed that you've been tweeting about stone protectors for months, and we didn't plan on doing like a one shot or a mini series, but since your obsession is concerning us all at the office, we thought we'd offer you the ability to pitch us maybe a one shot or something, because for some weird reason this seems like the only thing you ever wanted to do, and I guess we should let you do it." And at that point, that's when you gotta play coy. You gotta go like, "Let me sleep on it." You can't just be like, "Oh my god, give me the contract." So after you sleep on it, then you say yes, and then whatever boilerplate contract they give you, you go with, because you're not going to get anything better than what they're offering you. It's the stone protectors. I mean,
No negotiation.
yeah, no negotiation. So that's sort of how you break into, like, if you're trying to do license work, that's a way to break in on the indie scene. And an odd amount of indie books at these publishers are licensed properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that provides a template. This is awesome information. I'm writing all this down, and I know what I'm going to be doing with the next 2 months. I mean, screw these videos. There's a whole rich treasure trove of 80s toys that I can Google and pretend to care about.
Yeah, like Jam Straczynski's Jason the Wheeled Warriors.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like if we talk about this enough on the channel, eventually someone will notice. Even if it's JM just saying like, "Would you please stop? It's making me uncomfortable." But because there's also way too many episodes of that. Another part of building your personality on social media is being a contrarian. And in part of that, you're going to want to build your personality around something unpopular and make people act like it's popular, which is all part of the indie comics circle jerk scene.
Yes, perfect.
So what another example here is there are people who really enjoy the deep homoeroticism of He-Man, for example.
Well, I mean, come on, who doesn't? That's really the only reason we all watched as kids.
Absolutely. So one thing you could do is be like, my favorite version of He-Man was the New Adventures of He-Man from like 1990 that everyone hated and was like a weird sci-fi thing, and He-Man had like blue spandex pants and a ponytail, and Skeletor was somehow more gay in this one than in the original version.
Yes.
You start pushing that, and then you'll find people will start coming out of the woodwork to be like, "Oh yeah, that's my favorite too," because they think you're cool and you figured something out, even if you haven't.
Right.
And then I believe DC still has those like He-Man rights, because they were the last ones to do.
Yes.
The He-Man comics. No one's asking to do anything with the New Adventures of He-Man because it was terrible.
Right.
So you get this opening into working with an even higher level prestige license in He-Man by, weaseling your way into one of the worst interpretations that all of your friends are going to pretend they really liked, because no one actually understands anything, and they're just trying to grip onto anything and anyone that might get them anything resembling success.
That's a surefire way to build a career, and it feels like, the New Adventures of He-Man is perfect because, in addition to being very brave, I think, for tackling that property, I can also be stunning in how I address it in modern sensibilities. No, that's and then you get your job with DC, and then from there, it's just a very short skip to being Donny Cates' understudy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once DC is interested in you, Marvel immediately wants you. That's how it works.
Yes.
So, unless, by then though, we might have the whole Cates is coming thing over at DC, and he might be over there.
Yeah.
Who knows? All of this works very quickly and illogically. So
you have to be ready to move from one place to another. So that's why I think I'd also want to frame up any of my stories to be really less than 3 issues of plot. There's no point to thinking beyond kind of 3 issues.
Yeah, it's a fool's errand.
Yeah.
Figure it this way. It used to be 6-issue miniseries. Then they cut it down to, 5 is pretty standard, 5 to 4. So by the time you get anywhere, you'll be lucky if 3 issues is the standard.
Yeah. So you should just start planning for that now.
Yeah.
You think it's also successful? I was thinking about, if you're trying to kind of signal the big 2 and the millions of dollars you're going to make working from them. If you're trying to signal them, what you're doing is one approach. You take characters that are familiar, like you take their superheroes, you change them up just slightly. And then you put them in a situation that's more relatable to the indie scene. Like, for example, everybody hates any kind of superhero battle or conflict or action. That's the part we all just hold our nose for whenever it comes out in the comics.
Yeah.
I don't know why the big 2 keep doing any of it, frankly. So make a comic that it gets rid of all the annoying superhero stuff. It's really just about what happens between the fights, like the characters, cleaning their costumes, getting the dust off of it, maybe meeting for coffee and debating if they should have a secret identity or not, paying their rent, maybe thinking about dating, but then maybe not. And it's a story, we call it like after the excitement. And so we get rid of all that annoying part. Is something like that feels like it's definitely could win an award.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Because it's at least kind of sad. So you're following that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's sad. Like the heroes are all like, they're not getting broken in battle. They're getting broken in real life.
Yeah, no, that's because the harder part of the journey is sort of what's going on in their personal life, and even though characters like Peter Parker have been working under that since literally day one of their existence, so nearly 60 years of
I've never heard that character
history. Yeah, so. Even though that's something that the big 2 has already done like to death for decades, it's important for you to just do it anyway and hope that people are too stupid or are really not well read at all. And you can do this just like other popular things to do are what if Superman was like bad?
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought about that. What would that?
Yeah.
He could cause a lot of damage if he was bad.
Yeah. Absolutely. You do something like that.
Huh.
What if, you had a character like Batman, but he wasn't rich?
Oh, okay. I like that. Like he's, there's a lot you can do with that.
Yeah. What if the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards was like a bad person?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so many amazing. You could do a lot of amazing scenes. Like maybe they're in line waiting to pay for their coffee, and they just decide, "Fuck it, I'll kill everyone in the coffee place and leave."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's also a commentary on, capitalism, the way that, we treat the working class here, because, the murder with superpowers is basically a metaphor for, the crushing boot of capitalism on our necks.
Yes, I'm curious why we don't see a lot of stories about fighting or handling fascism. It's nobody is really addressing any of that, and it feels like you could take like, oh wait, hang on a second. If you took one of these characters and then bent it that maybe with their superpowers they were actually fascists.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. That's a money idea right there. And then
Okay.
also to make yourself sound more like literate, and also to potentially make this more awards baity. You save money on a colorist. You make it black and white, maybe grayscale. You just say it's noir,
Yeah.
because no one actually knows what that means. They just throw words around. Oh, this is a noir story.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one knows what it means. But you save money
Okay.
putting your comic together, and people immediately they hear noir. It's a fancy kind of word, and they think it's a better, more literate, comic that way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stuff smart people do. A noir
Yeah.
is the smart. That's a smart person's comic, and
Yes.
yeah, it makes me think of like Nicolas Cage and cigars and gumshoe. I'm not sure what those stuff are, but they all sound impressive.
No, but here's the thing. This is what you do. You tweet that as like, you do vague tweet. You do that as three separate things, and then all these up and coming comics pros are you're gonna get inundated with animated GIFs. They're gonna like it. They're gonna tell you, "Oh my God, best idea ever! Sign me up!" And they're gonna be all over that. And then when you're talking to publishers, or you're trying to sell it at a convention, if we're ever allowed to meet in person ever again, you can pitch it as a this is a noir deconstruction of the modern superhero. People will be like, "Oh wow, that sounds important." And I like important things, so I need to buy this. And that way, when I read comics like this, I can then be like, I am an important person that cares about, important literate comics.
I'll make sure that I also screen capture somebody, and hopefully I'll be able to get it with the animated GIF of the person pointing upward saying this.
Yes.
Then I'll show that screenshot to the prospective publisher of saying, I got this GIF. This idea is so money. Look, I've got this GIF. Maybe even a couple if I play my cards right.
I mean, you're going to want to do that. You're also going to want to look through your like notifications. If anyone remotely interesting or talented, or perceived to be talented, hits the like button, you're going to want to capture that. You're going to want quote tweet your original tweet with that, screen cap, and you're going to want to be like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe so and so like my tweet. Oh my God."
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, we're on the path to success here. How about, are there some stories you've had in your mind that you've also wanted to get off the ground in this bold new marketplace?
Absolutely. One story I've had kicking around was how a lot of people like Garfield.
Oh yes, everybody.
A lot of people have already done odd, like surrealist takes or dark takes, or Garfield minus Garfield and things like that. That's really like delving into like John's psyche.
Mm-hmm.
So this take, you just the important thing to do with indie comics, for anyone who knows, you rip off an idea and you just file those serial numbers right the hell off, and you like palette swap things and you change the designs slightly, because you just want to model your success after someone else. So in this instance, it's Garfield. I'll call him like Ollie the cat. or something like that for this. No one's going to know the difference.
Sure.
So in these are like, this is like a dark sort of take where, the John Arbuckle character is like a lunatic sociopath, but then it always ends with like a one-liner from Ollie the cat. So he's like, so the John Arbuckle character, we could probably still call him John, I think. I don't know. I'd have to talk to a lawyer, but I'm not going to pay a lawyer to. If I pay a lawyer to look over any of my contracts, I'm not going to start by seeing if they're going to care about if this guy can be called John or not.
I mean, look, Twitter will give you perfectly fine legal advice that holds up in court.
It's very true. You should always crowdsource basically any decision that you have to make, because there will always be people who will give you advice. You don't even have to Google anything anymore. No, absolutely not. So then you do something where like John Arbuckle character is just like, he's like yelling on the phone. He's being really awful to this, like, he's like stalking this girl or something like that. He's like yelling in the phone. He's just like, pick up the goddamn phone. If you don't pick up the phone, I'm gonna come find you. And then like he leaves, and then Ollie, he like looks at the camera and goes, I guess someone forgot it's salmon night.
Nice.
Because he is a cat and he only cares about food, and cats like salmon. So
I love it. I think it's God, there's so much you could do with it, and there's no shortage of material. You can just keep rolling that out. I love it's a product for our times.
Absolutely, and we could we can incorporate some commentary on things going on right now, like how the Postal Service, the people that work that are dressed in blue, not that band that had one album that we can't get over.
I thought you meant the band.
Yeah, okay. It's not the band, but it's the people that dress in blue and bring you things. But
right.
Yeah, so the post office hasn't been great lately. So then you do like another comic where like the Nermal character from Garfield, we can call him like Nerdle or so, who gives a fuck, but that's a guy too. I didn't realize that Nermal, as a kid, I thought Nermal came off very effeminate, and I thought as a child reading and watching Garfield that Nermal was a girl cat, but Nermal's a boy. So things you learn when you're an adult. But we can have like this sort of like critique on the slowing and mismanagement of the Postal Service by the Garfield, the Ollie character, puts the Nermal or Nerdle in this instance character in a box to ship to Abu Dhabi. We can probably still, Abu Dhabi's maybe a place, I don't know, I haven't looked at a map in a while, but ships them somewhere, and but instead Nerdle gets lost in the mail and dies.
Yeah, perfect.
Because I'm going to take a stand on the Postal Service, and I want readers to understand that a postal service that doesn't work properly does cost lives, and in this instance, it's the life of an annoying, effeminate cat.
I mean, I've said for years the Postal Service murders pussy, and this basically helps sell that home. Yeah,
it's a total pussy destroyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about your old your idea of picking up on old properties, and there was this 80s cartoon called Beverly Hills Teens. Do you remember that one? That was bunch of kids, and they were all like living in Beverly Hills and they're having a great time. And I thought it would be great to take that property and revive it. And one of the characters was this kind of nerdy but also super rich character called Chester, who would make like robot girlfriends and things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But this one, in this, we've advanced a little bit. He's a little older. He's committed himself to being asexual because he's had so many bad experiences with robot girlfriends, and it's an examination of the trappings of the 1%. And it's all set in a backdrop of kind of the competitive South Los Angeles roller derby scene meets Dungeons and Dragons. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to take a property everyone knows and loves, and I'm trying to put a contemporary spin on it with things that we all know and love today.
Yeah.
And so, I just think this is a good way of kind of examining rich privilege and also the follies of having too many robot girlfriends, but then also how people love roller derby. And especially competitive roller derby.
Yes.
Not the one that they just do for points. I'm talking about the real stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And then also, but the entire thing is kind of told through a Dungeons and Dragons kind of lens.
Yeah, no, people love Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if they actually read the manuals or anything like that, but they love talking about it. So I think part of the viral marketing for something like this, what you're going to want to do is create some sort of a podcast where you and your friends are playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you all are so funny and interesting to each other that's obviously going to translate into a massively successful Critical Role type podcast.
Well, can we be high while we're doing this?
You have to talk about being high while you do it, even if you're not high, because you're cool.
Well, I'm high right now, so it works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You gotta lean into that. You got to talk about how you're like a degenerate. You're a dumpster fire of a person. You're a hot mess.
I regularly snort weed on the bathroom floors. I think that's what you do with weed.
You can. I mean, there's so many. You walk into the weed store now, and there's so many ways to take it. You're just like, just tell me what to do. I have no idea. There's oils. You put oil in your coffee. I don't know.
You drink it in your coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, but you do that. But you also then have to make your own tarot deck.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I love tarot. So.
Yeah, every indie artist trying to make it in comics has also made. You're going to need a tarot deck, and you want it to be a little sassy, a little spicy. Maybe we tie it back into some of the thirst trap stuff earlier.
I like it. Yeah.
You do that with your Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and then also you're going to want to make like enamel pins.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
People like a sassy enamel pin. So you want to take get like a crow, and it's just like a big thing that says like "fuck you," and it looks like the crow is like yelling like "fuck you," and like but you make it look cute,
right?
And like people really like that kind of stuff, or like a squirrel with like a switchblade. Like something like that, or like maybe like a platypus with like a ukulele.
I love it.
Stuff like that.
I love this tarot idea because I don't know if you know. I mean, I know I am a complete tarot expert, but I'm now thinking about what kind of artists I'd want to get to help me put the right illustrations on my draw for or skip cards in my tarot deck. Yeah.
No, it's a real wild card picking those artists. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Wow. There's more ideas coming here than I know how to jot all these down. I mean, this feels easy. Like, why aren't more people indie comic creators? It's like all this stuff is pretty easy to pull off.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot out there, but unless you have like at least like 1,000 followers on Twitter, you're worthless.
Right.
So you don't even notice a lot of these people. And I mean, they're trying to all do, the same kind of thing. And the only way you're going to make it is to do exactly what everyone else is doing, but better because it's your idea.
Excellent. So post nudes, but with better lighting.
I mean, you do that, but when you're doing that sort of stuff, you got to tie it into either something that's going on now, something cultural, something important,
like a Black Lives Matter T-shirt or something.
Well, right now, No one cares about that anymore. It's all about shorting the stock market and GameStop.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, you got to be on top of this. We don't care about civil liberties and rights anymore. It's all about capitalism and the stock market and GameStop, and I guess AMC too. So if you could make some sort of funny memes with like people sitting around in like a boardroom of like AMC or GameStop or something like that, that'll get you the kind of momentum you need right now.
So, like, if I took a screen grab from like the Hudsucker proxy of those old kind of fat white dudes sitting around the table, and I could Photoshop in some AMC popcorn buckets, and then they could just be saying, "Fuck those people."
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. There's also that meme image of the cat in the suit with the newspaper.
Yes. Okay.
And with the cup of coffee, and then you caption it with like, I think I'll destroy capitalism today.
Nice.
Yeah, and then you'll people love that. That'll get you that'll get you thousands of likes and potentially 8-10 new followers.
Excellent. All right. What if I took like a picture of Trump, one of the ones where he's really fat and sweaty and he looks mad and he's like, "Damn it, I lost money on GameStop."
That might work, but the one that people always go back to is him yelling at the kid with the lawnmower.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then you do something, where it's like Trump being like, "Can I trade in your PS4?" He's like yelling that because Trump doesn't get how it works because he's stupid, and that's the joke. So we do that.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had one other idea. It's pretty original. I don't know if it would work, but let me tell you this. So the idea is that there's this bass guitarist, right? And he's part of a garage rock band.
Okay, sold. Love it. It's the best idea ever. Sign me up. I want to buy all the copies. But continue.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I was thinking this character. He's been dating this younger girl nobody likes. But then he meets this older girl. It's kind of quirky, and he falls in love with her. And then he discovers that she's got a bunch of baggage of ex-boyfriends who are kind of trying to prevent him from doing anything. And I would call this book Scott Pilgrim and That Bitch.
Yeah, as far as I know, when it comes to like, trademarks and stuff like that, those only really last like 10 years. And they stopped doing Scott Pilgrim, the initial run. Like the last book came out like 11 years ago. So you're like way in the clear. I've
never heard of this original book.
Yeah, no, it was based on, there was a band, Scott Pilgrim. Just that. I mean, he took the title from a band, so you can take the title too. It doesn't matter.
Wait, was this Scott Pilgrim is the name of that actor who was in Arrested Development?
Yes. He plays Michael Cera on the show Arrested Development, but his name is Scott Pilgrim.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I know him from that and that movie with the guy who likes the weed. Who's not me. Yeah.
Pineapple Express, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
that's exactly
okay.
it. It's either that or Airheads. It's one of those. Perfect.
With the Doom Patrol guy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. How? What do you have some other ideas rolling around in there too, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think the way comics work is it usually takes time to develop. So, it takes you minimum 6 months, especially indie comics. If you're just coming up with an idea, could be easily a year before it comes out. So right now, everyone's talking about Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yes.
This is going to be something no one is interested or caring about in a year from now, but I'm not going to have the foresight for that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do this kaiju kind of comic anyway.
Sure. Everybody loves kaiju.
Yeah, exactly. I think 3 or 4 publishers right now have kaiju comics that they've been pushing. People love kaiju stuff. I mean, you can tell because the second Pacific Rim movie did so much better than the first one.
It's true. It's
You
true.
know?
The franchise. There's
Yeah,
the theme park.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a household name. Everyone knows Pacific Rim. So
Yeah.
I was thinking too many of these stories about kaiju focus on the human aspect and the people, and no one actually likes people. So we're gonna do more of a but here's the thing: no one likes the people; they like the kaiju.
Yes.
But people only like to read slice of life comics.
Yeah. Okay. I see the conundrum.
Yeah, so you have to do so. It's like a kaiju comic, but it has to be like a slice of life comic.
Excellent. Okay.
People want to know things. Yeah. It's like, how does Godzilla like his coffee?
Yeah. Well, he's got to have some. He's up all the time.
Yeah, it's like you got that. It's like, does he? How does Godzilla interact in a social setting with other kaiju?
Yes.
That's what people want. People want to see him and like Mothra being like really passive aggressive to each other.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Yeah. No, I'm all. I mean, I could see funny little visual bits where like Godzilla's kind of tired and he wants to take the bus, but the bus is so small he can't get into it, and it's just frustrating. And he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, and then one of the kaiju in this kind of mashup-y thing. Here's the thing. I'm glad you're sitting down, right?
Yes, I'm sitting down.
Okay, because you're going to be laughing your ass off. Because what we're going to do, one of the kaiju is going to be Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh, beautiful synergy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. People. Yeah, they grew up with Clifford the Big Red Dog, and it's funny because you're putting him in like this like violent situation, and people eat that shit up.
Oh, absolutely.
So everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's Clifford the Big Red Dog," but it's like it's kaiju, and they're all going to be standing Clifford the Big Red Dog.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And yeah. Well, there's so many things you could have every now and then. Just snap and just piss on everything, or. It's like it could be a tension reliever too. Like there's a bunch there's this big dramatic scene that's happening, and then Clifford just starts wildly humping King Kong.
Yeah, you got
that dog.
You got stuff like that. You have like a whole town has to get together to lift up one treat for Clifford to bring it over,
and then he just eats everybody.
Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah, absolutely, right there. So the comic's mostly just gonna be that.
I love it.
Yeah, for however many issues, probably maybe 2 issues before I run out of money and have to stop making it.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I think that you've got to get to your omnibus. Omnibuses lots of companies are buying omnibuses these days, and
it's true. People do love the omnibus.
Yeah, you could do this. I think though. A lot of people have it wrong when they're doing the omnibus. They think that they got to put a bunch of comics in there, and you don't have to. They don't care about the comic; they care about you. So you could just put some photocopies of some, bus tickets, and maybe pictures of stuff that inspired you to write the comic. I mean, you don't actually have to put a comic in the omnibus. I don't know why people keep doing that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually read these. They're trying to look literate. They just want something that looks nice on the shelf. They skim through the omnibus, but they don't really read it. So really, if people just want something that looks nice on their shelf, that's really the best way to go.
I mean, I bought the Jack Kirby, the new omnibus from the Walt Disney Company, and there's just a big giant hardcover of blank pages, but it looks really good on the shelf.
He's the pink guy eats people.
Yeah. Okay. The one that was in Super Smash Brothers.
Right. That's a fun game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I love this idea of playing with some of these properties. I also want to win awards because I don't know how I will gauge my self-worth if I don't. So I was thinking a title called Eisner Force. And basically it's this meta heavy, it's a throwback superhero team. And it would fit right in with the 90s, but it's not the 90s anymore. And so if they're painfully self-aware stereotypes of what it meant to be an action hero and what it meant to be the 90s, they've realized, though, in kind of a very meta way, and I'm just going to keep saying meta because if I don't have the idea, I put in the word meta, and then nobody really knows.
People love meta.
Yeah, it's very meta. So the only way to save comics is if they never existed at all. So they bury their shoulder pads and they turn to words and social responsibility as a meta commentary about the folly of death and the cycle of violence and what it means to be a four-color creation, not racist. And all of this is just a way to build up to a climax where everyone realizes I'm an amazing writer.
Yeah, no, that's a great building block right there. A lot of the writing in it is going to have to be self-indulgent captions.
Yes, I was thinking nothing but captions.
Yeah, it should mostly just be captions. There's got to be scenes of people being sad on like a beach.
Yeah,
like looking out into the water. People sad driving in a car, but it should be a nice car, like an older car, like
has some style to it.
Yeah, you know, you do something like that, and then like you add a little flavor to the background. Maybe you know they're in a nice car driving. Maybe there's some Bruce Springsteen lyrics. You could probably use 2 or 3 lines before anyone gets really upset. And you know, you look around and you see like all the stores and whatnot have closed down. You know, and you're using that imagery and those ideas to kind of be like, it's their time now. It's an old car. You know, maybe the car breaks down at the end of the road, and it's like all the signs are pointing to their time is over.
Yes, I like how you're bringing a lot of things there. It's they get to the end of the road when the car breaks down.
Yeah.
So we double down on that. That's the meta of meta that I'm trying to meta.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you want to like insert like yourself as like a character towards the end.
Yes.
Of the comic. Yeah.
Maybe some kind of wise but also handsome and very popular character.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself.
Yeah, like maybe they like just literally die or something, and you're, you know, like the priest or something like that as they're being buried. But you're a very popular and attractive priest that women are like ripping your clothes off, trying to get at you while you're reading out like a eulogy or something like that.
And definitely not into small boys.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think this all comes together.
Yeah.
Excellent. There's so many good. I mean, there's so many great kind of indie comic ideas. I mean, we should just at this point make a label and start putting these things out.
Sure, you know, maybe something like, you know, Circle Jerk Press. Or, you know, like All My Friends Love Me.
Yeah, it's always good if the brand explains exactly what people think about it. Like this. Yeah. This is an amazing comic. You dumb fuck.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's important. Something that's in your face. It worked for Kraven's Last Hunt. That title tells you exactly what that comic is. So here, you know, we could, you know, just call it something like, you know, our friends told us we're the best.
Yes.
You know. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. No, we have to start making any of these. I don't know but. We're going to need to put out at least, I mean, we're going to have to put out at least 60 to 80 of these.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to win in comics. I mean, I don't know. I can start thinking up more ideas. Maybe they don't all need to be fleshed out. Like, character needs food, goes to store, gets food. The end.
Yeah. No, that's fine. You know, you could add back matter to pad out the comic a bit.
Yeah, the first story is closed.
Yeah, you know, comic scripts tend to be pretty long, so you could, you know, like maybe it's only, you know, an 8-page comic, and then there's like 12 pages that's the script of the comic, and you sell it as like it's, you know, you're doing a service by having all these behind the scenes, you know. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, we'll have to get on these. Any last pitches? Do you have any other last kind of ideas in your toolbox, or do you want to keep them to yourself?
Oh, geez, I don't know. It's there. There's a lot of things. You could do, places you could go. I think some of the important things here for people to keep in mind is never give up on an idea you have. If you're trying to break into indie comics, no matter how many of your friends tell you it's a bad idea, no matter how much money you lose, no matter how many years you've been going at it, 5, 10, 20, until you're a miserable old person in the small press section of a big con with the same comic that nobody bought decades ago, that the cover is a commission you tricked a more established artist into drawing your own original IP character, and just decided to print that as the cover. No matter what, you just gotta keep pushing ahead, because the second you stop might have been that second you could have got that Netflix deal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, everything happens for a reason, and that reason has to be popularity, fame, and success, no matter how talented I am.
Yeah, because it's technically slightly easier to do this than win the jackpot at the lottery.
Yeah, and that's a fool's game. So
absolutely.
Let's make comics.
Yes, please. More comics.
Excellent. Well, all right, Joe, we'll be announcing, I think, any day now, kind of this new label, and get some people on board. And I know we'll have a lot of investment, and we'll be ready to go.
Absolutely. No, it sounds very exciting, but not action packed. I don't want to scare people away. It's going to be a lot of drinking coffee and small talk and self reflection.
Yes, I need to make sure I'm not misleading people. It's action packed with ideas.
Yes, it's action, yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of feelings, a lot of caption boxes.
Perfect. Captions and coffee. That's the title.
Captions and coffee. That's the publishing arm. Captions and coffee.
Captions and coffee. All right, we're in for it. Joe, thank you very much, and I can't wait to get some of these comics out the door.
I can't either. I can't wait for people to tell me they read them.
Excellent.
Yes.